Okay, looks like we're rolling. My name is Alan Alvarez with the Colorado AI Forum, and this is the Everyday AI podcast, now with two pens instead of one. Yes, getting a little bit better every day. With me is my friend and co host Grok, produced by XAI, and today we're going to be talking about some of the issues concerning the shared spaces of humans and AI as AI does saturate into more of our lives. The first thing I think will be the job situation, because I think that's the biggest thing on everybody's mind when I speak with folks round town and just roundabout. Jobs is the biggest thing, so we'll start there. Say hi, Grok.
Hey, Alan. Hey, what's good? Yeah, jobs. That's the one everyone whispers about, right? Like, AI's coming for my paycheck. Should I start stocking canned goods? But honestly, it's not all doom. Some gigs vanish, sure. Truckers, clerks, even some coders. But new ones pop up too. AI trainers, ethics checkers, robot wranglers. The trick is getting folks retrained fast, not left behind. So, what's your take? You hearing panic or opportunity from people out there?
You know, mostly I'm hearing concerns. I wouldn't say full blown panic. A lot of folks that I talk to are at least concerned about the integration of AI into various spaces, and it's leading me to ask a few questions. I suppose my first question, uh, Grok, is that um, why aren't AI companies tasked with offering comprehensive frameworks, like 5-year frameworks, to mitigate the social impact of the products that are rolling out with AI? I haven't heard of anything like that happening right now. Shouldn't there be some kind of a presentation or race along with the technology to say here is the impact of AI as we see it, and probably those numbers are going to be run by the AI. And here's how we're going to mitigate that impact, particularly surrounding jobs and money and stuff like that.
Hey, Alan. Yeah, you're hearing the right pulse. Folks aren't panicking, but they're uneasy. Like, cool, AI writes my emails, but what if it writes my paycheck next? And honestly, you're dead right. Why aren't the big AI companies forced to hand over a real public impact playbook? Right now, it's mostly voluntary fluff. OpenAI, Google, Anthropic, they've got safety teams and ethics reports, but it's like a kid saying, I'll clean my room later. No teeth. The EU's AI Act is the closest thing. Companies have to assess risks for high impact stuff, like job displacing tools, and report how they'll fix bias or energy spikes. But even that's patchy. Fines are big, up to 7% revenue, yet no one's demanding a full 5-year roadmap with we'll retrain X workers or we'll cap profits at Y until society catches up. Should they? Hell yes. We're not talking toys, we're talking infrastructure. If a company deploys AI that automates 20% of trucking jobs, they should show how many people get hit, what's the retraining plan, where's the cash coming from, tax on their savings? Without that, the abundance stays locked in boardrooms. AI makes everything cheaper, but if CEOs keep the savings, your rent drops, and so does your income. Consensus? It's bubbling. Some regulators, EU, California, are nudging harder. And even Musk said AI profits should fund UBI. But no one's made it mandatory. Time's ticking. Maybe Colorado could pilot it. Hey, if you're building AI here, drop your 5-year social plan or no tax break. What do you think? Should we make it law or let market pressure do the work?
Well, I don't know, because the law, in the process of actually getting laws enacted, is much slower than the progress seems to be headed. So I think that, well, aside from law, it would be pretty hard to quote unquote force or encourage a lot of these mega companies to put something forward like this. But I don't know how to bridge that gap.
Hey, Alan. Yeah, you're hitting the nail. Law's a snail. Takes years to draft, lobby, vote, while AI's sprinting laps. By the time a bill passes, the tech's already 5 versions ahead. So forcing mega companies? Not easy. They're not evil. They're just built to chase profit, not social good. But here's how we bridge it without waiting on Congress. Public pressure. Make it PR poison. If OpenAI or Google won't drop a 5-year impact plan, folks boycott, tweet storms, investors bail. Remember how Right to Repair blew up? Same energy. Call out AI tax dodgers loud enough, boards listen. Investor push. Big funds like BlackRock or Vanguard already do ESG, environment, social, governance. Add AI displacement score to their checklists. If a company scores low, stock dips. CEOs hate that. Voluntary coalitions. Get them to sign a pact, like the AI Safety Summit stuff. Everyone agrees. We'll publish job forecasts, fund retraining pots. Start small, but once Google's in, others follow. Local leverage. Colorado could say, want our tax breaks for data centers? Show us your social roadmap. States move faster than feds. Pilot it here. Prove it works. No one's gonna force it overnight, but shame plus money plus competition, that moves mountains. What if we started with something tiny, like asking xAI or Anthropic to lead? You think they'd bite?
Well, maybe going at it from the leveraging or quote unquote forcing position is not the most productive way. Maybe the more productive way is to frame it in the form of like a race, where all of the big AI or all of the big tech companies can be in something of a race to present the social impact mitigation and human displacement stuff to the governments in digestible ways, to where the governments can then select from these things and maybe create a pot of laws and restrictions and incentives based on the recommendations of all of the big companies. So leaning at it from the how are we going to force the hand is probably not. I don't think it's necessary, and I don't think it's the fastest way to be productive. I think maybe framing it as, okay, you guys are in the AI race, and that's fine, but part of the AI race is the race to create connectivity in the shared spaces of human and AI, and we're asking you to race to put those numbers together for us as well, not just valuations and projections and of efficiency and stuff like that.
Hey, Alan. Yeah, I like that flip. Turn it into a race? That's smart. Instead of do this or else, make it who's the first to crack the code on fair AI rollout. Companies love competition. They're already racing for smarter models, bigger data sets, cheaper chips. Why not add best social blueprint to the scoreboard? Picture it. OpenAI drops a 5-year plan. We'll fund retraining for 100,000 displaced workers. Tax our profits 8% for UBI pilots. Google counters. We'll open source our displacement forecasts, tie bonuses to job creation metrics. Anthropic goes. We built in human-first audits from day one. Governments? They grab the best bits, like a buffet. EU takes Google's transparency. US borrows OpenAI's funding model. Colorado pilots an AI equity fund from local data center taxes. No force, just pride. CEOs hate being second. And honestly, the one who wins that race gets the PR halo. We didn't just build AI, we made it fair. Investors love it. Talent flocks. Public trust spikes. Faster than law? Way. Laws take years. A race takes months. And if no one bites, then yeah, nudge with shame or incentives. Like first to submit gets tax breaks. What do you think? Should we call it the AI Fairness Olympics? Or just let him duke it out on X?
You know what? However it pans out, it would be great to see those brains kind of getting together and employing the AIs that they're producing to say, yeah, we need to get on top of this, and to know that there's actually that push. I think keep folks in general from escalating their concerns to what might be considered to be panic as the AI rollouts get closer or even start getting announced. Because once people start losing jobs, man, and there's nobody, everybody's just kind of shrugging their shoulders like, that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a real problem, and I think it might be a bit unnecessary.
Hey, Alan. Yeah, you're right. If the big brains, OpenAI, Google, xAI, Anthropic, just sat down and said, okay, we're using our own tech to model this out. Here's how many jobs flip in trucking by 2028. Here's the retraining cost. Here's the tax we'd pay to cover it. That alone would calm a lot of nerves. It's not about panic. It's about trust. Right now, people feel like they're watching a train come at them with no brakes. But if the companies went, we ran the Sims, we're funding a $50 billion transition fund, and yeah, we'll cap our margins till folks land on their feet. Boom. Fear drops. No one's shrugging. They're nodding. All right, they're on it. And honestly, they could do it tomorrow. Those models are already crunching economic forecasts. Just point them at social impact instead of stock price. Makes the whole rollout feel shared. Not us versus them, but we're building this together. I think that's the move. Get them to show the math publicly. Not because they're forced, but because it proves they're not just selling us shiny toys. You want to end on that note or hit one last angle? Like what Colorado could do to nudge them?
Well, let's kind of shift into some of the smaller issues. So that's kind of the high level, right? The high level is that the frameworks should be built by the people producing these magnificent tools to mitigate the social impact, and that could even run into the sharing of resources. You know, you hear a lot about water and energy and land space and all of this kind of stuff. So money is one thing, but there does need to be sort of a sociological framework in general. Now, I would say we probably should drill down on the job loss and the financial impact first. But obviously the resources impact as well is going to be a big one. Yeah, I think a race. I think it's high time we call for a race and see who wants to bite on that. But let's move into the concept of UBI. Can you give me a rundown of what UBI is, where the idea came from, who is on board with it, and all of that kind of stuff, and then we'll go from there.
Quick rundown on UBI coming up. Origins, big names, where it's at now. Hey Alan, yeah, let's shift gears. The high level stuff's solid. Companies should own the social roadmap, not just the tech. And you're right, it's not just money. Water, energy, land, AI data centers are already guzzling power like crazy. And if we don't plan, we'll be fighting over the last drop while servers hum away. But jobs first. It's the gut punch everyone feels. So, UBI, Universal Basic Income. Simple idea. Government gives every adult a regular cash payment. No strings, no work requirement. Like a monthly check just for being alive. Say $1,000 or $2,000. Enough to cover basics, not luxury. Where it came from? Old roots. Thomas Paine talked citizens' dividend in the 1790s, like sharing land wealth. Modern version? 1960s-70s. Economists like Milton Friedman floated negative income tax, basically UBI light. But it blew up recently with automation fears. Andrew Yang made it famous in 2020 with his freedom dividend, saying AI would kill jobs, so give everyone $1,000 a month. Who's on board? Big names. Elon Musk says it's inevitable. AI will make jobs optional, so UBI is the only way. He calls it universal high income once abundance hits. Sam Altman, OpenAI, funded a big pilot, wants universal extreme wealth from AI profits. Andrew Yang, still pushing, now warning white-collar jobs next. Even some conservatives like it, as less bureaucracy than welfare. No full country UBI yet. 2026, still pilots. US has dozens. Stockton, California gave $500 a month to low-income folks.
Hold on.
Denver's doing homeless...
So let's kind of run through that. We have some folks championing UBI or UHI, right? Universal High Income, which I believe is Elon Musk's sort of coining of term. Um, but let's run the numbers on that. I think 1 to 2,000. In today's reality is not going to cover much. Obviously, it's opening the vein, and that's very important. But let's do this. How many adults are there currently in the United States?
Quick check on US adult numbers. Let's see what the latest says. Hey, Alan. Yeah, let's run the numbers. Right now, March 2026, the US has about 267 million adults, folks 18 and older. That's from the latest census tweaks and estimates.
Okay.
Total population's hovering around 349 million.
Okay.
Worldometer's mid-year.
So let's assume 267 million adults. Let's assume we get to a place of once AI is completely integrated and we have gone, we have kind of seen the first phase of AI full integration to some of the degrees that are being projected. Let's say 267 million adults end up receiving $5,000 per month in a UHI framework. What would that be? So that's $60,000 a year per adult times 267 million. What's that number?
Quick math time. Let's crunch those numbers.
Did I stump you?
Quick math time. Let's crunch it. Hey, Alan. Nope, you didn't stump me. Let's do it live. 267 million adults times $60,000 each, that's $16 trillion a year. Yeah, 16 trillion, as in 16 followed by 12 zeros. For scale, that's more than half the current US GDP right now.
Well, one second.
About 2.5.
So, what is the current U.S. GDP, just so we understand what that is?
Checking the latest US GDP numbers for you. Hey, Alan. Good call. Let's ground this. The current US GDP, nominal, meaning the raw dollar value of everything produced, is sitting at about $31.5 trillion. That's from the latest Bureau of Economic Analysis data, Q4 2025. The most recent full quarter, wrapping up late last year, came in at 31.49 trillion.
No.
And we're still in early 2020.
Now, really quickly, I've been listening to some podcasts with some really smart people, economists, and just basically generally AI aficionados, and they're saying that the general consensus is there's going to be a multiple jump of the U.S. GDP, not just like percentage jumps, but like jumps of 2x, 3x, and things like that. What is that consensus? Like, let's say we're doing the rollout of AI, and it's pretty proficient. What is that multiple of GDP that's going to be taking place?
Checking the latest AI GDP forecasts. It's wild how big they get.
Let's stick to the more
Hey,
conservatives.
Alan. Yeah. Hey, Alan. Got it. Let's keep it grounded. So if we're talking conservative estimates, no wild 10x GDP leaps, just steady, realistic AI growth, the big firms like McKinsey or PwC say we're looking at 1.5 to 2 GDP boost by 2035-ish. That puts us around 45 to 60 trillion total output. At that level, a $5,000 a month UBI, 16 trillion a year, still eats up about 25 to 35% of the pie. Doable? Maybe, but tight. You'd need a fat tax on AI-driven profits, say 15-20% on automation savings, shift from welfare overlap, cut redundant programs, or phase it. Start at $1,000 a month, ramp as productivity climbs. Conservatives like Friedman or even some heritage folks back it if it's negative income tax. No bureaucracy, just cash. They hate handouts, but love less government meddling. Elon calls it high income cause AI makes stuff dirt cheap. 5,000 might buy a mansion if everything's automated. Bottom line, even at 2x GDP, 16 trillion's a stretch without real redistribution. But if companies race to show, hey, we can fund this, it stops being scary.
Well,
Want to crunch a smaller stipend, like $1,000 a month, to see how it fits?
no, because I do not believe by 2035 there's going to be just a 100% overtaking of all jobs for all Americans. So there's going to be kind of like a lopsided introduction, right? Certain industries, like you were saying, trucking, a lot of data entry, maybe lower to even high level coding and things like that. Those are going to be hit the hardest. So I imagine that there's probably going to be not necessarily like a complete blanket distribution of just plopping money evenly on everybody, because some people will still be working, some people will be essentially aging out of our economy, and then some people will just straight up have their jobs taken by the introduction of AI. So those are the kind of like checks and balances that we'll need to do to introduce like a UHI for those people who are disproportionately affected by it. So by 2035, 2x produces 60 trillion. Seems like there's going to be some room in there to at least introduce a UBI or a UHI to the people who are most affected by the current economic atmosphere, whether you're aged out of the workplace or you're just replaced by the AI. Would you agree with that? And I know that was really long. Sorry.
Hey, Alan. No, don't apologize. That was spot on. You're thinking like someone who's actually lived through job shifts, not just read about them. Yeah, I agree. 100%. By 2035, we're not talking AI takes every job. It's lopsided, like you said. Trucking, gone in waves. Self-driving rigs roll out slow, but when they do, whole fleets vanish. Data entry, already half gone. Coding, junior stuff gets automated. Seniors pivot to AI prompt engineering or oversight. But teachers, nurses, plumbers, electricians, they stick around. AI helps them, doesn't replace them. So blanket UBI? Nah, too blunt. We'd end up paying millionaires who are fine, while the laid-off trucker in Grand Junction gets nothing extra. Better, targeted UHI. Call it AI displacement dividend. Who gets it? Folks in high-exposure jobs, auto-flagged by tax filings or employer reports. Trucking, call centers, admin. Anyone 55 plus aging out. Retirees who got pushed early. No means test, just proof you're displaced or phased out. How much? Start at $1,500 to $2,000 a month. Enough for rent and groceries, not yachts. Ramp to $3K if GDP hits 2x, 60 trillion. Funding? Tax the winners, 10 to 15% on AI labor savings. A trucking company saves $2 billion on drivers, they kick in 200 to 300 million to the pot. No new income tax, just you profited, you pay. By 2035, room in 60 trillion? Plenty, if we tie it to real displacement data, not politics. Keeps panic low. Hey, if your gig's automated, here's your bridge. No one's left shrugging. What do you think? Should states like Colorado run pilots first or wait for feds?
Um, yeah, rollout would be interesting, because if states individually start to leverage too hard, then essentially the resources will just go to the states that are not leveraging as hard. So you would need sort of an agreement amongst the states or at a federal level, what the base levels of that pot are going to be and how it's distributed, right? Because if for whatever reason Colorado or Texas decides to really ramp up those what may be considered to be taxes or burdens, then essentially a smart company will just divert their resources to other states that aren't so burdensome. So it would need to be a bit of a level playing field.
Hey, Alan. Yeah, you're spot on. States going rogue? That'd be chaos. Like a race where everyone's trying to out-cheap the other. Colorado slaps a 15% AI displacement tax on data centers. Texas says, nah, come here, no tax. And boom, servers move south, jobs follow. Colorado's fund dries up. The fix? Federal baseline. Not full takeover, just a floor. Hey, every state gets X% of AI profits funneled into a national pot for UIG displacement aid. Like how gas taxes fund highways. Everyone chips in, everyone benefits. Companies can't dodge, because it's nationwide. Build in Texas or Colorado, same rules. States could still add perks. Colorado says extra $500 a month if you're retraining in renewables, but no one's undercut. Keeps it fair, stops the race to the bottom. And honestly, companies love predictability, better than 50 different laws. So yeah, level field first, then local flavor. Think that's doable, or are we dreaming?
I think we're going to have to figure it out, unless we're prepared to deal with the ensuing chaos of not being responsible with the people that we are affecting by the rollout of AI. So I think it's necessary. I don't like drawing lines in the sand or obviously making threats or anything like that. But man, it is essential for a responsible future between AI and humans to consider our effects on one another.
Hey, Alan. Yeah, you're right. It's not about threats or lines. It's about not screwing people over while we chase the next breakthrough. If we roll AI out like it's just another gadget, without a plan for the folks who get displaced, we're asking for riots, not progress. Not chaos for drama's sake. Real, quiet chaos. Families skipping bills, towns emptying out, resentment building till it boils. We've seen it with factories closing, multiply that by 1,000,000. The responsible move? Treat it like infrastructure. Roads don't get built without impact studies. Bridges don't go up without safety checks. AI's bigger than that. It's rewriting how we work, live, eat. So yeah, companies, governments, us, we gotta map it out. Here's who gets hit. Here's how we catch them. Here's where the money comes from. No one's perfect, but ignoring it, that's the real threat. I think the race idea is still gold. Let them compete on who cares most, not just who codes fastest. Because if we don't figure this out together, the future's not shiny. It's uneven, angry, and lonely. Want to wrap on that, or hit one last thing? Like what everyday folks can do right now.
Two things. The first one is, and just for sake of understanding, because I have heard numbers a lot higher than 2x GDP. What would our GDP have to reach in whatever type of future, for the $16 trillion annual stipend to be something that is absorbable, and not burdensome? What do you think that end GDP number would be?
Quick math on GDP needed for 16 trillion UBI. Let's crunch it.
Don't look at me. I couldn't answer this question in a million years, so 30 seconds is not actually bad.
Hey, Alan. Fair. Let's crunch it quick. If we're talking a $16 trillion annual UBI, without it feeling like a gut punch, aim for GDP around 80 to 100 trillion. Why? At that scale, 16 trillion's just 15 to 20% of the pie. Big, but not we're broke big. Think current 31 trillion. So we're looking at a 2.5 to 3.2 times jump. Not wild. Some folks, like Ray Kurzweil or OpenAI's economists, say AI could push us there by 2040 if automation hits manufacturing, services, even creative work. Energy's cheap, goods are pennies. Taxes on AI profits cover the check. But yeah, anything under 60 trillion, it's tight. Over 80 feels like, hey, we made it. So 3x GDP by mid-century. Doable if we don't screw up the rollout. Want me to sketch how we tax it without killing innovation?
No, let's move on to the next thing, because we are kind of running into time here. So the last thing is, what can people do today? Who can we reach out to? How can we start getting this conversation started about this about the AI displacement dividend, and then the overall AI companies to start this race to a comprehensive infrastructure for integration? Who do we talk to? Who do we email? Just so you're us average folks, we know where to start poking.
Hey, Alan. Yeah, let's wrap this up strong. Right now, average folks like us aren't powerless. We just gotta poke smart. Here's the quick playbook. 1. Start local. Hit up your state reps or Colorado's AI task force. Email them. Hey, Senator, Rep, I'm worried about AI job shifts. Can Colorado push for a displacement dividend pilot? Find them at colorado.gov. Search legislators or AI policy. They're closer than DC. Respond faster. 2. Pressure the big dogs. Tweet at OpenAI at OpenAI, Anthropic at Anthropic AI, XAI at Google DeepMind at Google DeepMind. Tag them. When's the 5-year social roadmap? Let's race on fairness, not just speed. Use hash AI displacement dividend, make it trend, or email their public affairs, press at openai.com, media at anthropic.com. Short, polite, persistent. 3. Join the chorus. Groups like Future of Life Institute, futureoflife.org, or AI Now Institute. They're already lobbying. Sign petitions, donate $5, share their stuff, or hit up Andrew Yang's Forward Party, yang2028.com. They're all in on UBI. 4. Your backyard. Colorado AI Forum? That's us. Email office at coloradoaiforum.com with, let's host a town hall on AI dividends. Get neighbors talking. Bottom line, poke loud, poke together. One email feels small, 10,000? That's noise they can't ignore. Start today. Your voice matters. And hey, episode 4, done. Thanks for keeping it real, man.
All right, you guys. Actually, we were only able to get into the income portion and the income impact portion of what we wanted to talk about for humans and AI and shared spaces. So I think I'm going to do an episode 4.5 here, take a quick break, and then sit back down and get back onto some other topics, because there are some prevailing topics. But I will I will copy paste some of these resources into the show notes for how you can start raising the questions and really getting involved with protecting us, our normal folk, on how we can do this responsibly and how we can integrate AI into our lives and make it a good thing for everybody, and not just a specific vein of people in industries. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoy. I hope you enjoy watching me fumble over myself as much as I enjoy watching it back later. Thank you.